The murder of 148 people, most of them students at the Garissa University College, is the latest and deadliest attack yet visited on Kenyans by the Al-Shabaab terror group. The attack has followed a pattern that has been slowly manifesting in the past year or so of terror-related attacks in the country, particularly in the northeastern parts of Kenya. The attacks, which have been happening with increasing frequency, began soon after Kenya deployed its troops into neighbouring Somalia to help fight the Al-Shabaab group, the repercussions of which were these attacks that have thus far resulted in hundreds of deaths of non-combatant Kenyans. Initially, the attacks seemed indiscriminate, with grenades being the weapon of choice. In July of 2011, a hand grenade was hurled into a barbershop in Wajir and 4 people were injured. But the tact changed from that point onwards. The first indicator of this, the deliberate targeting of 2 churches in Garissa, the Central Catholic Church and the AIC Church, was simultaneously attacked. Gunmen stormed one church and shot dead churchgoers, while a hand grenade was again hurled into the other church. Over 17 people lost their lives that day. But if the Al-Shabaab, who have continuously claimed responsibility for the attacks, initially hid their targets in the attacks, the Mandera bus attack revealed their true intentions. Survivors of that massacre narrated of how they were asked to recite certain verses from the Quran. Those who failed were massacred, those who could were spared. 28 people died in that attack. And the message was reinforced a few days later when quarry workers were once more rounded up and massacred on the basis of their religious standing. But the audacity of the Al-Shabaab didn't end there. In the middle of last year, a seemingly emboldened Al-Shabaab squad numbering about 50 people stormed into the Mpeketoni area of Lamu and ruthlessly killed over 60 people in an attack that lasted for over 4 hours.
Wakati waligunja sasa raundi ya mwisho ndio walianza kuchoma mangari hapo yale alikuwa hapo area na wakanja wakambomoa hiyo ni ya mwisho.
It is these attacks that seem to target and inflict maximum damage in the northeastern parts of the country, the parts that border Somalia, that have forced the government to now try and seek ways of securing that porous border.
From border point 1, we want now to close the border.
A perimeter wall is said to be constructed along the Kenya-Somali border in Mandera County. The proliferation of small arms, the porous border, and the seeming ease with which youth are radicalized have all worked to turn that part of Kenya into the country's most vulnerable terrorist playground. But now the residents of that area, and indeed the country, are feeling the effects of that fluid security situation and are demanding action from government to secure it. Brenda, Wanga, NTV.